This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2, Welcome to DBL. It's Wednesday, August 18th. I'm Jeff here with my friends Stephanie and Al down there. I love when Al comes to our show.
I know. I get excited when I see my name on the list. I'm like, oh, I get to talk about fun stuff.
And
Do you not think he looks so smart today? Like suited and booted with the vest and the tie pin.
Al, when's your birthday?
June 29th.
Ooh, all right. I'm thinking pocket. I'm thinking one of those pocket watches.
Oh. Do you think I don't have a pocket watch? Do you think pocket watch status right there? Yeah, we're
full of surprises.
It does.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was like a.
I really didn't know you had one of those.
1880s banker today.
I love it. I am here for it.
Well,
wow.
Thank you.
I'm here for it.
Al Jackson always surprising. Sorry, guys. A terrifying moment for Alyssa Milano after being involved in a car accident yesterday. So here's what happened. Alyssa's uncle was behind the wheel when he suffered an apparent heart attack and went unconscious. Sources say their SUV drifted into another lane and struck another car before coming to a stop. Get this. Alyssa had to use her hand to hit the brakes, then gave her uncle CPR to help revive him.
Wow.
Wow. Or before, police could arrive. Craziness.
I mean, that's quick thinking, leaning over. And I mean, obviously in that moment, I tend to be really rubbish. You don't want to be around me in a moment of crisis. I'm probably not going to be much help.
So
I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I feel like Steph would be the person I would want. The human mind and body
can do amazing things, and I think maybe you would even surprise yourself.
Maybe, I don't know, but I thought that's pretty amazing. I mean, I know how to give CPR and use a defib. I know how to do that, but
clearly
when it comes,
use it like just a cool way to describe it, a defib. Like
well, I mean, where are you gonna get a defib?
Like, there'll be one in this building. There has to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good to know.
But you have to you've got to shave the chest, make sure they're not wet, stick it on, boom.
Do you guys think it's surprising that that's not something that's kind of mandatory? Because I'm sitting here listening to this story, and nothing is really that crazy. People have heart attacks all the time. People drive all the time. You would think this happens a lot, and I would think that there'd be more people, including myself. I'm embarrassed. I kind of know the rudimentary CPR.
Staying alive,
yeah,
right?
the staying alive thing, but I haven't done it. And it's just interesting that a lot of us, famously my mother gave a woman the Heimlich maneuver at a restaurant once, 5 years ago, and saved her life. A big piece of steak came out.
Wow.
So it's just interesting that these kind of basic life things that we know about, we all don't know.
You see,
You're right.
That's what I mean. Though I've done it on a dummy, but I've never done it in real life.
CPR or the Heimlich?
Either. I've never done either, so I don't know how good I would be.
I don't know. Well, she was pretty good.
Do you think you'd be good?
I don't.
Do you rate your steak?
Oh, CPR? No, I don't know. And the Heimlich, you have to be careful because you could break their ribs and stuff.
I think you're supposed to.
I guess a couple broken ribs is better than choking to death.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Gosh.
All right, guys. It's a feud that just won't die. Trust me. I know more than most. We talk about it quite a lot. It looks like Kim Cattrall is throwing shade at her former Sex and the City co-stars. Yesterday, the actress shared a video where she's cradling her co-star, a dog named Pixel, from her TV show Sensitive Skin. So in the caption, she wrote, "When your co-star is a real dog." So some say Kim's post could be in retaliation for a recent post by Sarah Jessica Parker. So over the weekend, SJP posted a series of Sex and the City photos with her new cast member, Nicole Ari Parker. So there's been rumors of tension, obviously, between Kim and SJP for years now, and those rumors were cemented earlier this year when it was announced that Kim is not going to be part of the upcoming Sex and the City reboot. So you think these are secret shots fired, or people are looking way too much into this?
I think people are desperate for the drama. They're desperate to stir the pot, and they're at the point where they'll pick up any slight thing just to, stoke the fire. I don't think Kim cares.
I don't know about that.
I knew I was going the other way.
Steph, how long ago was that show? 20-some years? It's clear that they don't like each other. You're talking about not wanting to stir. There's a pot there, there's a ladle there, and it's sitting on a fire. We got to stir it a little bit. There has got to be something going on, because they say time heals all wounds, but it seems like they don't like each other. You would think after 20 years you'd be like, I don't even remember what you said in the dressing room, but I'm over it. It seems, they're definitely throwing shots. I don't know if this is a shot, but they don't like each other.
It must be, when Al says that, when you think it was literally 2/3 of my life ago. Like, literally. And
People don't forget.
Still don't. Kim does not want back on that set. She said no to the 3rd movie. She's like, no, I don't want to do the series. And like, I love Kim, and she's got a great repertoire. But I mean, let's be honest.
I have a
Sex
proposal.
and the City is going to be a mega book. So to turn that down.
I want to throw this at you guys. I feel like these two, Red Table Talk, have it out for 2 hours, let Jada and the fam kind of referee it, and see if we can get to the end of this. I mean, it couldn't have been that bad. I mean, no one killed anybody.
That'd be amazing, but I don't think you get either of them to agree to.
I reckon Sarah Jessica Parker would do it, and she'd come across really sweet and lovely, but Kim never would say yeah.
Because I feel that's the scenario that people are getting, right? SJP's the good one, and Kim's the bad one.
Exactly.
Right? They want to pick sides.
But I think that's because of their characters as well on the show.
Right, yeah.
And I think, you know, Carrie was like the sweet, ditzy one, and Samantha was the PR. She was a bit more like cunning, career orientated.
See,
so I think that's trickled out into real life, hasn't it?
I thought there was nothing going on, and now that we talked about it, I feel like Kim kind of threw a shot.
I don't think she
I feel like she did.
No.
Because there's so much going on with Sex in the City. Everyone's
I
like
think Kim
so
would
happy.
just flat out say, hey, I don't want to be back on that set. Hey, I don't want to do it. I don't think she's one of those people who's going to be like doing subtle little jabs.
Okay,
She's not as lame
last
as
question.
that.
Do you think Kim Cattrall is secretly hoping the movie fails?
Yeah.
Secretly.
All right, never mind. All right, guys, let's get this story. Do you think Paris Hilton is going to be a Bridezilla? Let me explain. That's what some people are saying after she went on Jimmy Fallon to talk about her upcoming wedding. Let's take a listen.
Are you in the planning stages now?
Yes, we are planning everything. It's very stressful.
It's a lot of stuff. Have you picked out a dress?
Yes, that's basically the only thing that I've done.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff, though.
It's a lot. But I'm not a Bridezilla at all.
No, I didn't think you would be, though. I think that you would have this under control.
Okay, so not a Bridezilla. Let me explain. Paris says her wedding will be a 3-day event with about 10 outfit changes. She is also documenting her wedding for her show on Peacock, saying she's happy to show her fans fairy tale endings. Now, how do you say when you have a 3-day wedding and 10 changes that you're not a Bridezilla?
No, because I think a Bridezilla is someone who literally is making it hell and torture for their friends and family, and they're super demanding.
Okay, I got to come to a wedding 3 days in a row? That's not hell?
It's Paris Hilton. It's going to be the best 3 days of anyone's life. You could only be so lucky for an invite.
Wait, you guys are down for this?
Yes. Paris Hilton's wedding.
3 days?
This isn't like the average Joe blogs on the street. This is the Hiltons. This is Paris.
I'm
Come
out.
Come on. It's not going to be hell. It's going to be paradise.
Hey, listen, you could be in paradise 3 days in a row. You're like, whatever, palm trees, great. You know what I mean? You get over it.
There's going to be palm trees. There's going to be champagne. There's going to be unicorns. There's going to be glitter. There's going to be celebrities.
Right,
there's going to be everything you could ever want.
Here's why I don't think she's going to be a Bridezilla, because I think a Bridezilla, at your core, you have to micromanage everything. I don't like that. These earrings, you're standing too close. I don't like the light. I don't want to wear orange. That's what a Bridezilla. I think she's going to hire somebody that she trusts that's going to just lay this entire thing out, and she's just going to show up. I think that's
what. And you've got to think, Bridezillas as well, they're really stressed.
You guys are not convincing me.
No, they're really stressed because, and also, like, let's be honest, for everyone on the planet, like, money is an issue in some form of fashion, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, the dress, the venue, the food, whatever it is. Like, some people have higher preferences on other things than others. That's not a problem for Paris. It doesn't matter to her. So, like, when they're like, we need the right dress, it has to be right. It's because it's so much money and it's like their one time. Paris is having 10 dresses. She doesn't care if one's not exactly like the right shade or whatever, because she's got another 9 that she can fall back on throughout her 3-day event, in which she'll probably have a different theme every day. Probably 3 themes a day, let's be honest.
If my wife proposed this, I would not marry her. I wouldn't marry her.
Really?
Yeah, she's like, I want a 3-day wedding and I got 10 wedding changes. You gone. I'm not the guy for you.
He's not.
I'll see you later. I'm not even joking.
Oh, I get it.
And if you bring me to your friend's wedding that has 3 weddings, I might get a divorce. I might not even come with you.
You just pick one day you want to go to. Like an outdoor concert series, you're like, oh, I like the headliner on Sunday.
The first one, everybody's fresh, and then I'll see you later. All right, how much is your final resting place worth to you? What if it's next to Marilyn Monroe and Hugh Hefner? Pretty intriguing. So the crypt adjacent to the two is up for sale with the price coming in at $2 million. So Marilyn was laid to rest at the Memorial Park in Los Angeles in 1962. Meanwhile, Hef bought his spot for $75,000 before his death in 2007.
He was so creepy.
Or 2017, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but Hugh was so creepy, and he was like obsessed with Marilyn and really wanted to be laid to rest next to her. She had no intention of that, so I just think it's disgusting. Ew.
So you are not buying that crypt?
But
But
maybe you could go and be in the middle. You know, like if one of your girlfriends is being bothered by a guy at the bar and you just go stand in between, you're like, all right, I'm gonna run a little interference for my friend. Are you gonna do that for old Marilyn?
No, she's on her own on that one, I'm afraid.
How about, listen, for like a single creepier man, I would say, that's a cool spot to be.
Oh, it's just it says a lot about you.
Yeah, but if you're
dead,
nobody and no one's gonna remember you and you got millions and you're just gonna die alone.
What, so you're just gonna go lay next
Hell
to
yeah. Why not? You got no family, you got all this money. Throw $2 million at it. You're between. So now every time someone sees Hugh Hefner, Marilyn Monroe, I'm like, who's Ted Jackson?
Yeah.
You know
But they're just gonna use yours as like they're just gonna stand in front of yours, so they'll be pointing at either ones.
But you're in there.
Oh,
People are visiting you.
I don't like it. I also don't like the idea of being buried. I'm sorry to anyone who's into burials, but I just find it really weird. Like worms are eating you and stuff. You're just decomposing.
Are you opposed to the wall? You know, some people get in a wall.
Yeah, I'm
Your cremation?
No, I'm
get
gonna be
rid of me.
cryogenically frozen. Bring me back in like 1,000 years.
Some people
Still be arguing about masks.
Help us.
That'll be
and
great.
And the story after that will be Sex and the City reboot.
That's right. I'm here for it.
Coming up on DBL, the story behind this note a woman on a first date was given by a stranger. Why the fellow diner felt the need to warn her. And Carrie Underwood takes some heat for an anti-mask tweet. Speaking of Al, that she only liked. Can you still be a fan if your political views don't align?
Closed captioning provided by...
But sometimes I take it home with me. And the thing I'm taking home today is, how is Paris Hilton not a Bridezilla? And these two
my God.
are defending her.
She's not gonna. A Bridezilla wants to touch and do everything.
Yeah, and she's
Jeff,
like
I need you to meet with the Tux guy at 4.
You don't think just 3-day wedding is a Bridezilla move? If she did nothing else.
But
No, if there's no expectation, you just turn it up and having a good time, and she's not had to organise anything. I'm sure her bridesmaids haven't had to organise anything. They just turn it
Right,
up.
but it's gonna be now. I think you were confusing the term Bridezilla with being super extra. Is she gonna be super extra?
Oh, yes.
Yes, there's gonna be dubs.
Diva.
There's gonna
Is
be
that
a
just her
chocolate
way?
bar.
Is that just her way?
Yeah, but it's just
my
like
gosh.
it's like when somebody that is a public like an icon,
Yeah.
like Rihanna or I don't want to even put Beyonce in there, but just somebody that's expected to have pomp and circumstance. There is going to be a carriage ride and stuff that you and I would hate, but like they got to put on the show because their existence in our society is the show. They're the people that.
And also, she's doing it for TV. Remember, she's doing it for Peacock, and she probably wants to get a full season out of it, or at least a few episodes to pay for the
Well, you
wedding.
got season
3
leading
for
up?
sure.
I want to watch
Like
it.
a full season leading up to the wedding?
No, like I reckon it'll be like the whole season of the show will be like Paris trying on dresses, Paris doing this, picking their venue. Then the whole event will be probably an episode per
Listen,
day. Or
I think
something.
even like if you were to get married, right, in a big wedding, none of us had a big wedding, right, or were married in a big wedding. You'd be exhausted from that day, meeting family and friends and having all this come to fruition. To do that again 2 more days,
I would
think
probably
it's
want to have a
is
3-dayer. Because, well, you got to think, if I ever get married, my family and friends are literally all over the place. So they all need a day to arrive, a day for the wedding, and a day to chill out before they all go again. So I'd have to probably do something like that. Because my family, if they came to America, or if I went back to England, that's a day gone already.
I don't know.
I'm hearing from the booth that it's usually a welcome party and a going away the 3rd day.
Welcome back to DBL. The Paris Hilton saga continues in the break.
We are obsessed. That's hot.
The social media mob is coming for Carrie Underwood. We're switching gears here. The singer recently liked a Twitter video, just liked it, posted by a conservative commentator, Matt Walsh. In the post, he says he's against masks in school. Now, some of Carrie's own fans are coming for her. One fan says, so Carrie Underwood is an anti-masker? Jesus, take the wheel indeed. Wow. Another fan said, Carrie Underwood is an anti-masker. She's canceled in my book. So here's the question. Is Carrie going to be canceled? And can you remain a fan when someone says, someone you like, I should say, says something against your personal beliefs?
I think it depends what it is. If someone was an anti-vaxxer or an anti-masker, I wouldn't not like love them or follow them anymore. I'd probably be like, oh, I wish you would do, you know, be more my way. I care more about like when Kanye said things at some of his political rallies. That for me was like a really hard, I don't know if I can like you anymore.
All right, well, let's stay with Carrie Underwood. She didn't say anything. She didn't put anything out on her personal post. She liked a comment.
Yeah, but when you're that famous.
Right. I mean, people search the internet to see what you like and see what you've liked 8 years ago. And she's super famous, super popular, and people have, you know, ingratiated themselves with her life. I'm sure that they look at her, whatever recipe she might post and do that, and look at whatever advice she has for life and follow that. So, like, when we're talking about being a fan, you and I might be like, oh yeah, I like that song. I didn't know she sung that, and that's like as far as we go.
Yeah.
But some people that, you know, dig in with these people feel personally hurt when they don't feel the same way. But that doesn't mean that Carrie Underwood can't like what she likes on Twitter.
Yeah.
So if you're a real fan, you have a decision to make. Do you like the music, or are you a part of her lifestyle? And if you're that serious about somebody being an anti-mask or a pro-mask, whatever you are you willing to stand up for what you believe and not be a fan anymore? Or are you going to talk that mess and then go listen to her song? So it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And we talk a lot about free speech on this show, and like people are allowed to say whatever they want. But if you say the wrong thing that the mob, in this case, doesn't agree with, they want to cancel you. But if it's something on your side, then you're like, hold on, wait a second, this was a mistake.
Yeah.
Do you see? It's not equal. It's not. I personally get vaccinated. I'm vaccinated. I don't mind saying that. But I don't mind hearing someone's opinions of why they did not want to get vaccinated.
Yeah,
I think that's what's wrong with our country. Instead of just jumping to the conclusion that, like, you must be Republican, you must be a Trumper. That might be the case in some, but why aren't we allowing people to speak their mind and say, this is why I believe in this?
Yeah.
How come we don't do that anymore?
No,
it's just
agree.
you're canceled. If you don't agree with me, you're canceled.
I don't think she'll be cancelled. I don't think he'll get.
No,
there's as much as people that are pro-vaccine are anti-vaccine, and you know.
There's a silent mob too. That's like, keep going, Carrie.
Yeah, so I think there will be for sure that will stick up for her, and I don't think it's nothing that she said that's, you know, anything to do with the music.
Inflammatory, yeah.
I think you were right when you said 1,000 years from now we might still be talking about this one. Coming up on DBL, a woman gets stunned on a date when a stranger passes her a note. Why did he tell her to run? Look at that note. Would you run? Come on.
These images and videos have surfaced recently. They claim to show scenes from the Taliban's rush to seize power in Afghanistan, but not all of them are connected to current events. So let's walk through what's real and what's not. Our sources include InVid, a video forensics tool, RevEye, a reverse image search tool, Google Maps, the United States Air Force, and Pacific Air Forces. This video was shared across Facebook more than 60,000 times. The post claims it was taken in Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan, and shows the Taliban taking over the presidential palace. But our sources show that is false. Using InVid, Verify isolated frames and was able to confirm the footage was actually taken in the Syrian city of Idlib. We know that because the same footage can be seen at 1 minute and 15 seconds into this YouTube video. And that footage was taken in 2015 amid unrest in Syria. So we can verify this as false. The video was not taken in Kabul. Next up, there's a lot of confusion about these two photos, both posted to Twitter. Both photos claim to show people being airlifted from a Kabul airport, but our sources say that's not true. So let's clear this up. On Sunday, during the rush to evacuate people from Afghanistan, a U.S. military cargo plane did transport around 640 Afghan citizens to Qatar. That's what you see in this photo on the right, taken by U.S. Air Force. But Verify used RevEye and found the photo on the left isn't from Kabul. We tracked that picture back to Pacific Air Force's website. PACAF is a U.S. Air Force Major Command Center headquartered in Hawaii. The site confirms this picture was actually taken in the Philippines on November 17, 2013, and shows people being evacuated to Manila following Super Typhoon Haiyan. So we can verify. The photo on the right is from Kabul, but the photo on the left is not. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
Welcome back to DBL. You'll never guess what a woman on a date got from a random stranger. So, it was a note written on a very long CVS receipt that reads, "Too many red flags, run. Be safe, girl." The woman tweeted it and saying it was given to her by a gay man sitting behind her. She also noticed the red flags herself but didn't feel like she was in danger. Maybe she did after she got that note. If you were on a date and you got a note like this.
Okay, right, I didn't get a note, but this is a 100% true story. 100% true story. I was in LA with my then boyfriend. We went to go see my gay best friend, Carlo. Hey. And,
hi, Carlo.
Hey, Carlo. And he met up with us and he was like, "Steph, I am telling you, within seconds, he was like, "Steph, this is not the one. I really don't like this guy." And I was like, "What? No, you're wrong." And he was absolutely correct. But yeah, he spotted it straight away. I was like, no, very delusional. But yeah, he was right. So
all right.
He spotted it. So maybe his radar is good at picking up all this other stuff that I didn't see. So maybe this guy's radar was good at picking up stuff that she was like a bit blasé about.
What would have to be said, Al, for you to actually go to the extent to write a note and slip it to another woman about the man she's on a date with?
It would have to be something in which I knew maybe there was a hustle or a scam going on. This is a kind of a side story, but kind of associated with this. I got hooked into one of those pyramid schemes when I was like 15 to go sell knives door to door, something ridiculous. And it was at a Starbucks in my hometown of Cleveland, you know, the one I could walk to. And I was in that Starbucks maybe like 12 years later, and the exact same scenario was being laid out for a young dude about my age. And when he stepped out of the Starbucks, I told him like, "Hey, that's a scam. I fell for that, blah, blah, blah." So if it was something I knew, if I overheard somebody telling stuff like, "Oh yeah, go down to this party, it's on this street and this street," and I'm like, "I know that bar. There's no parties down there." You know, if there was, I would do that.
Right,
but if somebody was saying something like, you know, even if they were like, "I don't like black folks," I'm like, that's their conversation. That's not my point to say, you know, how you feel about something. But if I felt like somebody was in danger,
or taking advantage of,
that's when I'll step in.
That's a good point. That's actually a really good point.
He's got no skin in this game.
Apparently,
he's gay. He likes men. He's not interested in her. He's not trying to secretly hit on her or anything like that. He's got no skin in the game. He's literally looking out for another human.
But why?
Do you know? Does this? I already checked off camera. But if a gay man told me if I was on a date, there were some red flags, it would make me raise my eyebrows a little bit more if like Al walked by and he was like, "Hey man, here's a note." I'd be like, "What's that guy doing?" But if a gay man was in tune enough, I might want to listen to him a little bit more.
Well, I think as well.
Does that make sense without being derogatory?
Women feel a lot safer because, again, I think women feel a lot safer. Like if like one of my best friend, literally Carlo, he literally said the same thing, and I felt very comfortable, and I should have listened, and he drilled it into me every day for almost a year, and then finally I listened.
He should have slipped on a little piece of paper.
Oh, there were
Where's that
many
CVS when you need it?
Text, everything.
All right, we'll be right back, guys.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The Verify team is here to make sure that you're only getting the facts when it comes to the recent events in Afghanistan. Take posts like this. "The U.S. funded, trained, and armed Taliban to fight the Soviets," wrote one person. So let's verify. Did the U.S. government directly fund the Taliban? Here are our sources. Benjamin Hopkins, a professor of history at the George Washington University. Charles Dunbar, a retired ambassador who worked in Afghanistan in the 80s for the State Department. Mike Lyons, a military analyst. And this report from the Congressional Research Service.
There are linkages, but it's not a direct line.
According to Hopkins, in December of 1979, the Soviet Union sent troops to Afghanistan to protect a communist government. Those troops remained in the country for a decade. Hopkins says that in response, the CIA began sending money through the Pakistani government to the Mujahideen, a group of Islamic militants that were fighting the Soviets. It was deemed Operation Cyclone.
That Operation Cyclone started out very small until finally to the point where it was literally billions and billions of dollars.
This was confirmed by a Congressional Research Service report stating that a total of about $3 billion was given to the Mujahideen from 1980 to 1989, according to the State Department. So how does the Taliban play into all this? Well, according to our experts, the group first began to form in 1994, so money never went directly to the Taliban.
There is a story of Americans arming an anti-Soviet insurgency, some of whom then go on to become part of what will be the Taliban.
Some U.S. funds went to supporting the Mujahideen, who had generally the same point of view as the Taliban.
But any sort of direct linkage, U.S. arming the Mujahideen in the 1980s supports the Taliban in the 2000s, is incorrect.
So we can verify that false. The U.S. government never directly funded the Taliban, but they did support the Mujahideen fighters in the 1980s. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov. Welcome back to DBL. Did you know that your vaccine status could affect your income?
Mine?
We're chatting about it, yours, Al, on today's Bang for Your Buck, presented by The Hartford. So to cover health costs, more and more companies are considering charging higher insurance premiums for their unvaccinated staff. This means your employer could pocket an extra $50 per paycheck. That would get me vaccinated alone if you're unvaccinated. That's an extra $1,300 each year. This is one of the many reasons why you should talk to your doctor about getting vaccinated against COVID-19. So for quality and affordable insurance, the Buck's got your back. The Hartford will be happy to provide you solutions. Call the Hartford at 1-800-684-6085 or visit thehartford.com to learn a little bit more, Steph.
Wow, didn't know that was going to happen, but it's becoming more and more.
Hit him in the paycheck, hit him in the pocketbook.
Hit it where it hurts, right?
Way to fill in those last 8 seconds.
It was a wonder.
See you guys there.
It was a wonder.